What's up? What's up? What's up? We
Yes,
grilling, baby.
Here we am on the fam with the fam on the cam. Yes,
That's
sir.
right.
We grilling, baby. It is a wonderful Tuesday, a beautiful Tuesday, and we are here on
Absolutely.
the Keto Cookout. Once again, shout out to everybody. Man, time flies. It seemed like we just did the show yesterday, Adam. I mean, I don't know about you, but
Right,
it seems
it
like
does.
we just did it yesterday. But it's another week, and we're so blessed and fortunate to be living this keto life.
Yes,
Yes, doing
absolutely.
what we do
Yeah.
here, and
I've been so busy. It does seem like it was yesterday.
yes,
Sure.
yeah. And I look forward to the show, and man, I just like I said, I woke up to like, man, it's Tuesday. It's like it was just
Right,
yesterday. How many Tuesdays are there in a week, Adam? Help me out. You know I'm not that smart.
right. Exactly.
Yeah, we got some cool things going on for you today. Shout out to everybody. I see Pop Beater is here. I see our girl Lori's in the building. Darth Carnivore, what's happening? Let some
Yep,
people come on in the room here. They're coming
absolutely.
in one by one. Come on in, get comfortable. We'll do what we normally do.
The
Scurvy
video.
free, heart attack free, although I'm doing everything I can to have a heart attack, man. Bacon, eggs, frying everything in bacon grease. Man,
Absolutely.
I'm taking cholesterol. I got a cholesterol IV in my house.
Right. So
Don't ask me where I got the IV pole.
I
It's
take it
under.
you had a heart attack then.
No,
Okay.
nope. I'm still heart attack free. How about you, man?
I'm still my ticker's still ticking.
Yeah,
Unfortunately for some, fortunate for
yeah.
others.
That's right. Hey, I think that's a 50 Cent song. Many men wish death upon me. Yeah,
Right.
so, hey, we're not going to take it to the streets. This is a keto cookout. We're not going to go
Absolutely.
there. For those of you who don't know who 50 Cent is, but
2 quarters, isn't it?
yes, sir. Carb wise, had a little bit of pasta this past week. Not too much, just a little bit.
Uh-oh.
Just a little bit. So yeah, not nothing crazy out of the ordinary. It was Friday.
Okay.
So other than that, good, clean. Uh Everything's good there. Shout out to my man Todd Botness is in the chat.
Yes.
Our
How's it
brother
going,
Todd.
Todd? Good to see you. Hey, you filthy animals.
Who you call the animal?
Right. Well, obviously you. I mean, everybody knows that.
Yes, I'm the big dog. I'm the big dog.
So my carb check, you know what my carb check is. I'm still on the lion diet and
I love that.
absolutely zero. So
Yeah, I love that. I don't know how.
now I take that back. So, I can't control what my body does. So if I ate too much protein and it turned to sugar inside and,
Yeah,
if I
yeah,
get carbs that way, I have no idea. But I didn't actually intentionally ingest any carbohydrates. So
yes. Well, I can tell you right now, I'm not a doctor, but I know you very well. You are way too mean for anything to turn to sugar inside of you.
right.
So,
Absolutely.
yeah, I guarantee you, it doesn't work for you. Now, to my lovely low carb ladies, my keto cuties all over the world, they are all sugar. It's so hard for them to stay low carb because they're so sweet.
Right.
Shout out to them. Oh
Absolutely.
man. So yeah, but
The champion within is from Columbus, huh? That's cool.
yes, I see that. That's my man John. Good to see you, brother. Good to see you. He's probably looking around for dress barns and places he can find female sweaters. It's a long story there. It's an inside joke. He knows.
I don't want to know.
Joke. Yes, he knows the joke. To make a long story short, we had a ugly sweater contest, and he bought a sweater that was for ladies, and he won the contest with the ugly sweater with the lady sweater.
All right. Very
So
cool.
for the rest of his life, basically, he's going to get the female clothing jokes. I mean, that's just what it is. That's how it works. You win the prize. This is a burden that you got to carry. This is a cross you got to bear
Right.
until the cows come home. So
Absolutely.
there you go, man.
Lori has not had a heart attack this week.
That is good.
That's a
Love
bonus. I love that.
I love that. Love that.
I found ribeyes at almost 40, 60 fat to meat. They are wonderful. That does sound
Oh,
delicious.
yeah. Shout out to Pa Beater. Good to see you out there, brother. Robin's here.
How you doing, Robin?
Everybody's favorite grandma is in the building. Good to see you, Robin. Good to
Our
see you.
meat eating grandma.
Yes, yes. Glad to see you here. Love it. Love it. Well,
That's awesome.
we have a special guest tonight. We'll get to it because he has got his fuzzy pajamas on and he's got to go to bed early. But somebody is. Do I hear somebody coming up the driveway? I hear somebody coming up the driveway. Look at who it is. It's Dr. Paul. Dr. Paul Kalazik.
How are you doing? Nice to meet you, Paul.
Welcome to the
Nice to meet you, Adam. You're in the Gem City as well, is that right?
I am. Yes, absolutely.
Right, we got to get together sometime.
For sure. I would love that.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I met Dr. Paul at the Boca Raton Keto event down there, put on by Low Carb USA. And we had a great conversation down there, along with so many other people. I think you guys saw I had Dr. Bickman and Dr. Westman and some of Dr. Ovadia, some of the other people, and had a great conversation with him. He's a great guy. And of course, he is in Dayton, Ohio. So
awesome.
He is
representing
right there in Buckeye Land. And so we chatted for a little bit, and he agreed to lower his standards and come on the show with me, mostly to meet Adam. That's really why he's here. He's here.
I'm an esteemed company here. I'm proud to be here.
Yeah. I don't know what esteemed means, but if it means terrible, I agree with you.
This one you can eat your meat. You can steam your meat too. Okay.
There you go.
There you go.
Not rust.
Yeah, no. We fry it, we roast it. Adam is a sous vide. He sous vides, which we say is French for we're going to eat next week. So
I'll tell you, my wife does that, and it is great. It's great. I mean, you do got to wait a few hours, but it's worth it.
Absolutely. Yeah. I just did a sous vide tri-tip tonight, and that's the first time I did tri-tip, and it was delicious.
Yeah. No, I love that, man. Yeah, it's sous vide is a French word that means I hope you're not hungry right now. I tease him about that, but listen. One of these days we're going to get together, and he's going to get me some of that sous vide stuff, and we're going to check it out. And I'm going to get him to try some of my leg of lamb that I make, because he says he doesn't like lamb, but I told him I defy you to say you don't like this. He's a natural born liar, though, Doc. So he probably will. He will never give me the satisfaction of saying I was right about something. Cut it out. So anyway, but in any event, it's enough of our dysfunction. Why don't you introduce yourself to the people? Tell them who you are and what you do. Okay. And we'll sit back and listen to you for a little bit.
Well, first of all, I thank you both for having me on. So I am a low carb person in Ohio. Basically, my background's in the emergency department. I've spent 25 years in the emergency department, still work in the emergency department at the VA here in Dayton. So it's a pleasure being able to take care of the vets out there. But then realized that most of the people that came into the emergency department had a problem, and a lot of those people have high blood sugar and are overweight. And, I traced that back to the source, the culprit. And you know what? It wasn't cholesterol. Public enemy number one is not cholesterol. It was the carbs. So after seeing all that disease in the emergency department, the heart attacks and the strokes and the peripheral vascular disease, I opened a metabolic health practice about 7 years ago here in Dayton.
Yeah. No, I love that. Now, you still work in the ER. As I've talked to you, I want to make sure I represent you properly. And folks, you still work in the ER there. The metabolic health side of it is something you do kind of as a side right now.
But it's getting busy. I mean, we have a full 3 days a week in the office, so it's really the emergency department work that's become the secondary work as my practice has grown. And we just focus on low carb, intermittent fasting. I'm big on continuous glucose monitors. And so that's the focus of the practice. And, I've had a lot of people come to me over the course of the last few years, pre-diabetics that are no longer pre-diabetic, diabetics that are in remission, and people that have lost a whole lot of weight and on that road, surprisingly drop their cholesterol, drop their triglycerides, get rid of their hypertension. So, I saw the light here after, growing up in the 70s and 80s when I was told to follow the food pyramid. And we're reversing a lot of disease here.
Yeah.
That's
Where
awesome.
did you find now? How did you find out about low carb living? What was your introduction to that? And were you skeptical about it at first, or did you jump right in? I mean,
Yeah, I'll tell you, I had evidence of, what I had seen in the emergency department all these years. And, the fact that we were supposed to, go low cholesterol, and, the more research you do it, you guys mentioned, the cholesterol issue on the introduction, only about a fifth of the cholesterol in our blood is contributed by what we eat. You probably know that. And so, all the science has been wrong. And then you look at the forces that have resulted in people being hurt, the forces of, the food processing industry and seed oils and a profitable effort, by those business entities, and really what's gone on in the House of Medicine related to supporting this cholesterol myth. And it hasn't, what we've done over the last 50 years hasn't worked. There's got to be a different way. And so, I feel I've been fortunate to find that, and then, help some other people, along the way. And at this point in my career, after, working in the emergency department for a lot of years, I just get a lot of satisfaction and have a lot of passion, about helping people in this regard.
well, the question I had is, maybe I'll frame it a different way. So many doctors, we talk about the standard American diet being bad for us, but I would say that the standard American doctor is just as bad for us. And so many of them came to it, like Dr. Berry, I think Hampton has a similar story, where their patients brought it to them.
Yeah.
They weren't really looking for
Yeah.
an answer. They were telling their patients what everybody was telling their patients. It wasn't really working, but they just did what they did. And then when a patient brought it to them, who basically, and for lack of maybe a better word or term, defied them, basically ate everything that the doctor told them to stop eating and started doing everything that the doctor told them to stop doing, and saw results, then they reluctantly said, let me take a look at this and see what's going on, and then the rest is history. Was that it was your path like that, or were you maybe looking?
I got to tell you, there are enlightening moments, and I had one of those in the VA emergency department about 7 years ago when I was taking care of a gentleman that was there. I think it was in his 40s or so, came in with abdominal pain, really ended up not being an issue. But in the course of that conversation, you got to review their medical history. And one of his comments was, "I used to be diabetic." I said, "What are you talking about? You used to be diabetic." It's like, you're diabetic, then you're persistently diabetic. And I checked out his story. So I look back through his record. We have electronic medical records. So I can look back and I can say, well, you know what? His hemoglobin A1C used to be 9.2, and now it's 5.4. And his fasting blood sugar, used to be in the 130s, and now it's 88. And so you learn so much. Doctors try and do things for patients. Patients do a lot for doctors. This man educated me about what can be done with that disease process, and that was, I think, an inspirational turning point for me, because I then got in a conversation with him. How'd you do this? And he had lost 40 pounds. And he basically educated me, and that is one of the things that spurred me to pursue my metabolic health practice.
That's very interesting that you said, because that's the second time I've heard that recently. I don't know if you're familiar with Dr. Georgia Eads. She wrote a book recently, Change Your Diet, Change Your Mind.
Hmm.
She's a colleague of Chris Palmer, who wrote, I think, Brain Energy. Is that right, Adam? That's
Yep.
Chris Palmer's book, talking about ketogenic living and mental health. And she said almost the exact same thing. She's like, doc, I learn from my patients.
Yeah.
It's like I'm here to give them answers, but in many cases they give me answers.
Yeah.
So, and that's awesome. And that says it's a lot about the person that you are, that you're willing to do that, because I know Adam can say this. I certainly can say this. I know it firsthand from my own parents and the people that I evangelize to. Many doctors don't want to hear it. They
Yeah.
don't want
No,
to hear what you have to say. They are here to
no.
tell you. They're here to give you the answers. I'm the expert. I've got the degree. You listen to me. And so when you bring them that stuff, they're like, "Oh, that's garbage. That's hogwash. Those guys are kooks," and throw that out. And here's what you should do. So
Now,
just
I learned a long time ago. You got to listen. You got to listen to the patients. You got to listen to the nurses. Working in the emergency department, there's no room for error. If I send one patient home with chest pain and 25 years that ends up having a heart attack at home, then that's a bad record. There's no room for error. So you better take education, wherever you can get it. So I try and learn from everybody around me.
yeah, yeah.
That's
But
awesome. I
no,
love that. So
go
I
ahead,
got a
Adam.
question here real quick, Russ.
Go
So
ahead.
your patient essentially brought information to you that you didn't necessarily know, and you kind of learned from that. So for the viewers that's watching, if they're in a similar situation and they would like to share something with their doctor, what would you recommend on how they should approach that situation?
Yeah, it depends upon the doc. Sometimes you have to go gently, but I'm going to make a comment about American medicine now. It's really evolved in the last 30 years. And I don't mean this to be negative toward docs in their office, but when I got out of school, docs were, still hanging out their own shingles and in small group practices. And now they're basically employed by large health systems by and large, or even, public entities that trade on Wall Street, or insurance companies. So it's a different situation. And I think the model's a little bit different. And, I got a lot of friends that are primary care docs. Primary care is the backbone of American medicine. But they're relegated now to 20 minutes a patient. You get 20 minutes. You don't have time to get into this stuff in 20 minutes. Talk about diet the way we do, how strength training can decrease insulin resistance, how low carb and intermittent fasting can help address that. So they're relegated primarily to disease management. How do we need to tweak your insulin, now, or what blood pressure medicine do we need to add? And I don't, they don't like it. A lot of them don't like that role, but it's the role that medicine has evolved into. So I feel fortunate that, I can still enjoy working in the emergency department a day a week, and then have my own practice and be able to address, things that often those docs don't have time to address. I now have docs in the Dayton area that are referring me patients because, they're in the closet, but they know this works. And, when I send them back a patient that has lost some weight and is on fewer medications now, then they see that as a win. So, medicine changes at a glacial, very, very slow pace. We just, need to keep, what do you say there, Russ? Evangelizing, proselytizing, whatever, right?
Well, but that is it's encouraging, but it's discouraging. I mean, I've heard Dr. Hampton and others say that it's changing slowly in that, but it's just, to me, that sums it up, that somebody has to be in the closet about things that are helping people. That is crazy to me.
Yeah.
That you just said that, there are doctors out there who send you people who, for whatever reason, don't feel like they can give folks life-changing, life-saving information, so they got to send them to you. That's just that blows me away. But I always have to remind myself that medicine is a business. It really is. And there is not a lot of money in healing people. There's a lot of money in treating people.
Yeah, there's a lot of money in treating disease, and there's a lot of money in procedures. Let's replace that hip and let's do that bypass. But in terms of, the kind of things that we do with patients, it just, it's just, can be more challenging, but I think also more rewarding.
Yeah. Well, in our conversation, you mentioned, and I just want people to know, we're going to obviously get your information out. We'll put it in the description and that for people who are maybe in the Dayton area or Ohio and want to reach out to you. But you're not the stereotypical, primary care doctor. They can't come to you when they got the sniffles or a flu shot or a bunion or a canker sore.
Yeah.
You are just kind of in a niche. Why don't you explain to people who may be wanting to connect with you what it is you do so that they're not you know
So I focus exclusively on metabolic health, reversing disease, and weight loss. And my background's in emergency medicine. I'm not a primary care doctor. I'm not an internist or a family practice doc. I did go out and get a board certification in preventative medicine, in addition to my emergency medicine background. But I focus exclusively on metabolic health. If you have a thyroid issue, that's not something I manage. I communicate with your primary care doctor about how we're looking at different issues. But my focus really is exclusive. I mean, really, it's a practice that focuses on reversing insulin resistance and the disease, including being overweight, that comes along with that. So that's what I do. I mean, that's the exclusive focus of what I do. A man's got to know his limitations, and I don't want to
yeah,
try and manage things that are outside my area of expertise.
sure, absolutely. And we don't want folks to, since there are folks I know they're in that area who may want to say, I'm going to switch to him as my primary care doctor, or I'm going to start take my family in there or whatever. So that's
Yeah,
just to let folks know that's not
right.
exactly what you do.
But if if you feel a void in the type of guidance that your medical guidance you're looking for, in terms of a metabolic health agenda or program, that is what I do.
Yeah, I gotcha. Our guy Paul Beater, I guess, put a little bit of blood work in there. It's kind of a little cryptic, but I said Karna 27 weeks down 150 pounds. Most recent results
Hey,
December to February. AST looks like from 52 to 26. I see the ALT triglycerides. That's liver ALT, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
So I'm certainly not a doctor, but I know some numbers are lower that should be, and, and some numbers are higher that should be. So, you know,
Yeah,
that,
but look at what he's done there. Right?
yeah,
Basically, reversing his fatty liver disease,
yeah, yeah,
lowering his insulin resistance, lowering his blood sugar, which is causing, previously causing inflammation to his arteries. Basically, he's making tremendous changes, and that's without, somebody writing on a prescription pad and handing him a medication.
yeah. No, I listen. I agree 100%. There's our friend Susan. She's there in the Dayton area,
Yep.
and
Hey, Susan. Yeah,
yeah,
that's great. That's where my office is, in Vandalia as well, north side of town.
Oh,
So
nice.
that's great that you got a doc that's supportive of that.
yeah, yeah. And I'm sure now. Do you have a network of docs? You said you have docs that refer to you. Do you
Yeah.
have any docs that you refer people to? Who have more needs that you can't really fill for them?
Yeah, I mean, basically, I work in conjunction with people's primary care doctor. If there's an endocrine problem, I mean, I help identify those problems, like a thyroid problem. I work with an endocrinologist, I'm not, I don't completely ignore potential cholesterol issues as well. So there's a great lipidologist in Dayton I work with. So if people have a little bit of a high cholesterol, then I'll refer to him as well, because he's not a like. If he sees a patient, he doesn't think I got to write a prescription for a statin for them. He's very reasonable. And, we get into this thing, and maybe we can talk about it some other time, where, a lot of people have high cholesterol, but they don't have the dangerous type of high cholesterol, the subfractions, the LDLs that are dangerous. And so, step one, with somebody that's got a cholesterol issue really is identify your subfractions, because your high cholesterol may not be a big issue. Or it might be a little bit elevated, and depending upon your subfraction type, the bad kind of LDL, it could be an issue. So, get the information to act on that if you need to, or not go on a statin if you don't need to.
Now this is may sound I don't know how exactly to answer this, but if you have bad LDL, is that reflected in any other? Is that reflected in your ratio of HDL to triglycerides? Is there anywhere else that would show up, or is
No.
it just you have to have a specific test for that?
Yeah, you basically need it. So the way, and I don't know if you've talked about this before, but there are several types of LDL, and the two prominent types that I'll give you the name for the bad kind. It's called LP little a, lipoprotein A, and the way to think about that is like a ping pong ball. That it's a hard ping pong ball, and it's bouncing against the side of your arteries, and it's causing inflammation that could ultimately lead to clotting. But there's a large fluffy kind of LDL as well. And that just kind of meanders around your arteries and doesn't do any damage. It's usually genetically based. The type of LDL you have is usually based on your genetics. But if you don't have LP little a, lipoprotein A, then the likelihood of a significant issue associated with your cholesterol, unless it's sky high, is not real great. And as we're talking about lipids, one of the things that always has surprised me just amazingly is how triglycerides drop on a low carb diet. I mean, it's amazing. I have patients that come in, and they have triglycerides, let's just say like 240 or something like that, which is high. Anything over 100 is high. And we put them on a low carb, high fat diet. It's a high fat diet because low carb diets are high fat, and their triglycerides drop like a rock. They drop. I've had patients that have gone from 250 to 75. So that's the good side of the lipid profiles that occur with low carb diets. And I'll tell you what I see with the others with the total cholesterol and the LDL. It might go up a little bit, might go down a little bit. Not really any big change at all. So, it's amazing. I think that we've been led down this road of, like I was in the 70s, you got to stay away from butter. You got to, limit your saturated fat in your meat. And, it's, I don't think got a lot of scientific basis to it.
Well, the reason I ask is because we're taught by all of them, Barry, Chafee, Bickman, all of that ratio of triglycerides to HDL is so important to keep it as low as possible. So in my evangelism, that's what I tell people, and of course, there's several different books and things out about cholesterol and fat being good for us, and we need it. So I just want to try to make sure I'm giving proper information.
Yeah, you are, and I didn't address that in my comments, but basically, you go low carb, you lower your triglycerides. HDLs are kind of hard to budge sometimes, to get them up higher, because again, that's mostly a genetic thing. Strength training can help with that, but you don't see remarkable changes in HDL. It's kind of like, what your genetics are is kind of what your numbers are going to be. Sometimes though they'll go, since you're eating more fat, it'll tweak that HDL up a little bit as well.
Yeah. Gotcha. Looks like we have another one. What diet should someone with the diagnosis of familial adenomatous polyposis post-total be on?
I can't pronounce it either.
Tree.
Yeah, I got to tell you, that's so basically that means lots of polyps in the colon run in the family, and he had to have his colon out because of this. So I'm sorry, but I'm just, when I don't know something, I'm going to tell you, and I don't have expertise in that area. I mean, I think you do just need to educate yourself regarding metabolic health, but also be talking to your gastrointestinal doctor about what kind of diet you should be following after your colectomy.
I will channel my inner Dr. Barry. Oh, go ahead.
Right, there you go. Kent Carnivore, the YouTube channel, Kent Carnivore KC, if you want to check him out. Lee Copus in the UK, he's had a colectomy. So he is on strict 100% carnivore diet. And he swears up and down that that's the best thing for him, and he wished that he had gone to it sooner. Now, obviously, this is not medical advice. Go to his channel, check him out, and connect with him. And, maybe you can get some tips and pointers from him.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'll channel my inner Dr. Barry. The proper human diet is for all humans. Are you a human? If you're a human, then you should be on the diet. Proper human diet, even if you're an improper human.
Right.
I got to go plow the field now. Thank you. Shout out to my man, Doc Berry.
Let's see. We got one more question.
My tribute. I think we got one more, and then the doc's got to go. He's got his fuzzy pajamas on. He's got a bedtime story already there. He's got to get up early in the morning.
So you got to tell people that I asked you if I could come on early just because I got to get up at 5 a.m. tomorrow morning for another emergency department shift. You know, when you get to my age, maybe you'll understand that, Russ. Okay.
Okay. How old do you think I am?
Well, so I'm going to play it safe here. 35.
Don't play it safe with him.
How old?
I got to be careful here, Russ. I might be getting myself in trouble here.
You need to reverse that.
No, you are not. There's no trouble here, Doc. No trouble here.
Okay. So he gave me a hint. I would say low 50s.
Yeah, 50. I'll be 54 this year.
Okay.
So yeah, I'm not. It's not like I'm no spring chicken.
Yeah,
that's for sure.
Well, but you're getting healthier with every year, right, Russ?
You better believe I am,
absolutely.
And that is a lot because of the superheroes in our community, our doctors that have shown us the right way instead of the wrong way.
Yeah.
So, like I said, shout out to you. So I guess you're north of 55. Is that what you're trying to say?
I am north of 55, little ways north of 55. It's great to be at this point where I can still enjoy the emergency department work and be passionate. You know, this has given me a second breath in medicine. You know, I mean, it's a great opportunity. So, you know, I'm going to be at it for a few more years.
I got you. Well, we'll take one more and then we'll let the doc roll on there. My man John says, can you get a cholesterol check on Mob Day? But he meant Monday. He's illiterate. Then get another on Tuesday and get different results.
Yeah. You know, every test has variability. You know, there's some variability just based on the testing process. And of course, it can be based on physiological parameters. You know, example of that is triglycerides. You know, if you eat a lot of fat the night before you get a triglyceride test, that's going to go up. So there can be some variability, but you know, not so much that it should make a huge difference, to tell you the truth.
Yep.
Yeah.
There you go. Well, tell the folks now. You are starting a YouTube channel and some things of that nature. Yeah. So you can tell folks where they can find you on social media if you like, or where they can find you in general. And we'll make sure we post it in the chat and in the comments.
So my practice is in Dayton, and the name of the practice is metabolicmds.com. So the word metabolic, then mds.com. And I'm on social media with, you know, TikToks. Just look for Dr. Kolo, Kollo, and you'll find me. And, you know, LinkedIn and Instagram and all that. So, and I got, a YouTube channel, Metabolic MD. And then can I plug my book here, Russ?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Shameless plug for the book.
Absolutely. All above.
So nice. I really, you know, I think the use of continuous glucose monitors really can be very, very valuable, because all of a sudden people see those curves on their CGM and they understand for the first time, you know, what's going on with their blood sugar and how their insulin level affects that and all that. So I think CGMs, you know, I've had patients where CGMs are life-changing. The way they put it, way one patient put it, and it's been repeated by another patient since then, is, you know, once I see those graphs, I can't unsee them. You know, you can't unsee them. You know what's going on with your physiology, and it leads to this lifestyle change to low carb and keto. You know, that seems over time really not to be that much work. So I really believe in CGMs. So the book, The Continuous Glucose Monitor Revolution for Non-Diabetics, is on Amazon.
Awesome. Yeah, I just posted the link in the comments for you, and I just ordered one. So,
all right, thank you.
Yeah, that's what we're here for. If you got anything else you want to plug or anything else, you come back anytime, and you know, maybe we'll bring you back a couple times. You know, answer some questions. Maybe if you have more time, you know, when it's not past your bedtime, maybe we'll You know.
All right.
But I
All right.
can't.
You know, I'm still doing Russ, I'm still doing those 12-hour shifts, and I just start dragging a little bit toward the end if I don't have a good night's sleep beforehand.
Doc, I
There you
appreciate
go.
you. I'm just teasing you, man. Please don't take it. Take
I
nothing,
can take it. I can take it,
take
Russ.
nothing I say seriously. I'm a natural born idiot. I'm just telling you. I'm silly, but that's what we do here. We try to incorporate some serious things with some fun and some laughter too. And you know, you're a good sport, and we appreciate that. And we hope you come back and answer some more questions
I'd love
another
to.
time. We'd love to have you back on the cookout.
That's awesome. It was nice meeting you, Dr. Paul, and appreciate you for stopping by and hope to see you again.
All right. Thanks to both of you.
All right. Have a good night, Doc.
All right. Take care.
There
Awesome.
you have the good
Yeah,
doctor.
that was very cool. It's good
Yeah,
to know that there's some good guys out there, especially
yes,
locally.
yes. They are our superheroes. They are the superheroes in our community that can give us some legitimacy, and you know, we can point
Legitimacy.
to them. Well,
What's
yeah,
legitimacy?
yeah.
No, I wasn't gonna let that slip.
Hey, on Mob Day and Tuesday. That's right. So yeah, man. Yeah, he's a good guy. Good guy.
That's
I
awesome.
got his book, and oh, we got another
Uh-oh.
guest at the cookout. Who is it?
Hey, it's Lynn.
Oh, it's Liz.
Midlife Carnivore. How you doing?
Good. How are you two doing?
Awesome.
We are doing as well as can be expected for men in our condition.
Oh, yeah. You guys are both younger than me.
Oh, come on.
But I don't feel it, and Adam doesn't look it. So, you know, it's just
Oh, I was enjoying hanging out backstage listening to the doctor.
yeah.
No.
He's a good guy. It's good to meet him and chat with him, and we got some other folks. Hopefully, they'll be coming up here that we met at that event. And
well, I was gonna say, you know, that to the person with the colectomy, that their doctor would tell them to eat fiber. So
yeah,
Right.
you know, I was thinking about the Keto Kent that you mentioned is a really good example of someone to take a look at. You know.
Right. Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, I mean, 7 years as a GI nurse, and that's all I ever heard the doctors talk about was eat more fiber, fruits and vegetables, and yeah.
Oh yeah, that's right. So I totally forgot about that. My brain fart. No pun intended. So Casey, Lynn here has some expertise in that area. So if you got any more specific
you know, the
questions, she might be able to help.
condition, the condition is not common at all. And, you know, it's pretty uncommon to have that condition, but it's just like, you know, multitudes and multitudes of polyps, and the colon just wants to grow. It's a hereditary thing, wants to grow all these polyps, and the docs can't really keep up with getting them out, you know, removing them. And so some people need to end up having their colon removed.
Wow.
So didn't come across it very often, but occasionally. But yeah.
So do ketogenic doctors and scientists, do we have any kind of theories or any research at all about why that is, what polyps are caused by? Do we just, I know we lump everything standard American diet. We're anti that.
If you look at what the mainstream people are saying, they're going to, of course, blame it on red meat, like they blame everything on red meat. You know, I kind of look, and my opinion is thoroughly just opinion. I mean, yes, I have a lot of background as a GI nurse, but I've been a carnivore for 9 months now. And so this is all new thinking for me. It's like, my whole training was fiber, fruits and vegetables, standard American diet. If they're having gut issues, you know, they need to not be eating the red meat, and they need to go low fat, everything. That's how my whole life was focused as a GI nurse. So this is all new to me. So I've had to kind of rethink a lot of these things that I was telling patients over all those years. But I know with diverticulitis, you know, you get these diverticula in your colon, and I've heard theories about that the constant stretching of the colon wall through having these large bowel movements can create some weaknesses in the bowel wall. And I'm kind of wondering if that's possibly the same thing with polyps, because if you think about maybe having little micro abrasions from all the fiber, creating some damage there in the wall of the colon. I'm just curious as to whether or not the polyps are the body's like trying to repair those damaged areas, just like you get arthritis. If you have like disc degeneration, your body's defense is to develop arthritis. You have a scar when things are healing. So I'm kind of wondering if.
Well, help me out. I understand. So, diverticuli are like craters in
they're little pockets.
Yeah, pockets in the colon, whereas the polyp is like a lump.
It's kind of almost like a mole or a skin tag or something that's poking out. So obviously,
I was going to say, if you did a colonoscopy, couldn't you see the transition if the diverticuli, like the pocket, was turning into a polyp? Or am I mistaken what you're saying?
Yeah, so the diverticula will not turn into a polyp. So there are two different things, but I'm kind of suspecting that both of them have to do with some damage to the colon. Whereas the diverticula, I'm suspecting, is a weakening of the colon wall, because what it is it's the lining of the colon kind of pouching out through the musculature of the colon wall and all the tissue of the colon wall. Whereas the polyp, it's something growing out, from the colon wall. But I'm suspecting that they might both be because of different types of damage.
Yeah.
But again, only my thoughts here. There's nothing behind it other than just complete speculation. But it's a hypothesis that probably will never get tested, because someone would have to do a trial on carnivores and look to see if carnivores can avoid that problem.
Well, it's just, I was talking with my dad about this a few days ago. I can't remember. I think it was Dr. Chafee's stream that I was on. I think he's the one that I remember saying this. It's like, the next time a doctor tells you you need fiber, ask them why.
Right.
Why do I need that? And my dad,
ask them for the science behind it, not just the why, because they'll have plenty of answers. I used to give people answers that were those answers I was taught. So you don't just ask them why, but ask them for the science behind it.
That's what my dad was saying. He was like, well, because you need, it's like a sweep, through your colon, to like scrape your colon walls, or just to keep the colon clean or whatever.
Yeah.
And again, like I said, please, I'm about as far from a doctor as you can get. But I thought the colon absorbed, things,
well, the small nutrients are absorbed in the small intestine.
Right.
So that's before you get to the colon.
Gotcha.
The colon is specifically for packaging and removing waste. I mean, there is some absorption in the colon, but basically, the breakdown starts in your stomach, and then the absorption of nutrients takes place in the small intestine. And, but the doctors will tell you that you need to have the fiber to kind of clean the colon. Because if you think about the colon, there's a lot of folds in it. I kind of compare it in some ways to, the way that those hoses are nowadays, that they shrivel all up and then they'll inflate when you put the water in it. It's kind of they kind of shrivel up like that. And so there's all these creases and crevices and stuff. So they will tell you that you need the fiber in order to clean in through all there. But honestly, I don't think that's really the case. I mean, our colons naturally produce mucus. And if you think, mucus is our natural lubricant for the colon. And so we have a built-in mechanism to move things through.
Yeah.
So I don't think that's the right reason. It's just the canned reason.
I remember the term roughage as a kid.
Yeah.
My mom and my grandmas would talk about, you need this is roughage.
The grandparents always needed to make sure they had their daily bowel movements, right? So they had to...
Which I guess is another word for fiber. I guess that's the the word for fiber for folks that don't know.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I look back to when I was working in GI, and to all of our patients with Crohn's disease, ulcerative colitis, and I know that they should have been on a carnivore diet but the advice that we were giving them back then was just not good advice. And they would go on a low to no fiber diet or a low residue diet if their colon was inflamed and they weren't in remission with their disease in order to heal the colon. But I never heard anybody say, oh, well, then if avoiding the fiber settles down the inflammation, then maybe adding it back is not such a good idea, because they would feel so much better if they took the fiber out of their diet. But nobody made that mental leap. I certainly didn't. But looking back, I'm like, it makes sense.
Yeah. Even like constipation, a lot of people are constipated.
Yeah.
And they give them more fiber, as, oh, you need more fiber in your diet. But isn't that what's constipating them?
Yeah.
It depends on the type of fiber. But yes, you're right. But there are types of fiber, and some certain types of fiber will speed things up. Other types of fiber will slow things down. So we used to always just kind of work with the patient and figure out, like, what type of fiber have you been eating, soluble versus insoluble? Do you need to mix it up and change up the ratios? Yeah.
It doesn't make sense. It's like, oh, I'm constipated, so let's throw some sawdust on it.
Well, not all fiber has that response. So some fibers are the soluble fiber is supposed to pull in fluid, which will help loosen things up and soften things up, which will help get it moving. But ultimately, it's not the solution, as we know.
Right. For sure. Yeah.
Yeah. So anyways, things I wish I knew. But of course, I probably would have gotten fired for sharing that information, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Have to stay in the closet.
Yeah. Seriously. Well, I'm looking forward to going back, because since I did have to retire because of my mast cell disease, I am looking forward to going back and seeing dropping in on my coworkers at some point, because the last time they saw me, I was huge and incredibly unhealthy, and my face was like covered with rosacea, and I just looked like on death's door. I'm really looking forward to going back and seeing them and surprising them, and sharing them what I've been doing.
Yeah, that's awesome. Can you share with everybody how much you've lost now?
Yeah, absolutely. So I give a scale weight and I give a actual fat loss, because I use my body composition scale. And so I know the difference, because I've gained like almost 25 pounds of muscle and bone. So my scale weight has me down 80 pounds and my actual fat loss is 105 pounds as of yesterday.
Yeah.
That is awesome.
Yeah. I'm super excited. Like, I'm beyond excited. I get all giddy when I have a weigh-in video that I do every Monday, and I get kind of giddy and everything because I'm so excited. I've added a rebounder to my routine, and also a lymphatic drainage, protocol. And then rebounding.
I said a rebounder. Are you playing basketball? I mean, tell us.
You know what? I did not realize that is the new name for a mini trampoline.
Oh, there you go. See, that is. When you think, listen, when you say rebounder, I added a rebounder. I'm thinking Dennis Rodman's out there at the crib with the, just on them boards. I got
no. I'm 5'8", but I'm not that tall. Definitely not springy. But yeah, I've started using the mini trampoline. Yeah. My viewers have educated me that it is called a rebounder now.
Gotcha.
Yes. And it has like a bar that's attached to it and goes up over so you can hang on, which is a good thing for me. But my physical therapist told me to start really slow, because, man, I tell you, it gets the lymphatic system moving like big time. And I when I first started on it a few weeks ago, I overdid it. And like, I don't catch any air, very rarely. Like, there's like no distance between my feet and the actual trampoline, but just the bouncing itself, or kind of the marching, really gets things moving. And I overdid it because it's fun. And I felt like death warmed over for several days. I was exhausted and just like, what on earth? Am I getting sick? And one of my viewers said, no, it's a rebounder. You probably overdid it. And then I was turned on to the doctor who, gosh, and of course I should know his name, Dr. Nicholson, who teaches, he's kind of like the lymphatic doc. He teaches how to get the lymphatic going. And it's like dry brushing, but you don't have to use a brush and you don't have to take your clothes off. You can just do it, wherever. And so I started doing that, and it's made a huge difference. And I really think it's affecting my weight loss, because 2 weeks ago, I was down in 1 week, I was down almost 6.5 pounds of fat. And then I had a normal drop last week of about 2 pounds. And then this week I'm down over 5 pounds of fat.
Wow.
And it's like, what? And and my scale usually also tells me about my visceral fat. And usually it takes me 4 weeks to drop a pound of visceral fat, which is the fat around our organs. And this time it took me 2. So I'm starting to think that the rebounder is a really, really good tool,
Mm-hmm.
and gets
Yeah.
the toxins out of your system and just kind of get things moving. And yeah, it's really, really good. I would highly recommend it.
That rebounder, I mean, trampoline. I mean, come on, let's just call it what it is. It's
I
trampoline.
know.
The trampoline and the vibration plate seems to work wonders for evacuating those toxins and getting that stuff out.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, definitely. I was able to stand on one of the big, huge vibration plates, the big old upright thing that you have the handles, at my husband's cousin's house. And man, that thing it's really, really cool. I mean, you feel kind of energized right afterwards,
Right.
But yeah, I know you don't need a little. I've been watching Bill and his channel, and he just posted a video, and he showed himself on the rebounder with mismatched socks, and or not the rebounder, but the vibration plate. And it's amazing what it's done for him. It's pretty incredible. So yeah, if you can't rebound, and I know for him, I think people were really nervous about him rebounding, yet. And so the vibration plate is perfect.
Yeah, I love that, man. I love that.
Yeah. Which scale do I use? So I use it's called a Renfo brand scale, and they have a variety of models, but mine is not very expensive. It's like $22. And it comes with an accompanying app. And so you just kind of set your phone near you wherever you're weighing in, and it just downloads all these metrics into the app. And it's really helpful, because I haven't been discouraged, but I think that it's really helped me even be less than even remotely starting to be discouraged, because I can see how much muscle I'm gaining, and I can see that I'm gaining bone. And which was a shock to me at the beginning. Like, I'm gaining bone? And like, I wasn't expecting.
You mean like bone density?
Yeah. So it tells me how many pounds of bone, I have. And I was low at the very beginning. I was too low for my age. And yeah, I've gained like 1.6 pounds of bone. So that's definitely improved bone density. I'm nudging towards normal. I'm still a little on the low side. And but yeah, and lots of muscle gain. Yeah, I think like 23.5 pounds of muscle gain. And the first few months I wasn't exercising at all, and I was still gaining the muscle and the bone.
Yeah.
So I just really feel like I was giving my body the building blocks that it needed. And my body was taking those building blocks and making muscle and building bone and healing. Yeah, I feel like the recent, just this month, February, has been, I've kind of come to a new level. I feel like I think I'm able to eat a few more things. I know Adam and I have been talking a lot about our histamine issues, because we both have these histamine issues. And with me, it's because of my mast cell disease, and it's probably autoimmune disease and histamine intolerance. But I've found usually my gut and my skin, because of the rosacea, is a really good indicator of how I'm doing. And if I've need to stay on the lion diet for so long, and I've just recently started to add a few things back. that were causing me issues with my rosacea before. And one of them is coffee with some heavy cream and some ghee. I haven't done butter yet because it has more proteins that have allergens, but I've been doing ghee, and I've actually done some chocolate flavored element in my coffee, which was caused me problems before, and I'm whizzing all that up in my magic bullet and drinking that in the morning. And it's been like 3 weeks now, and I have had no issues. So healing is taking place.
I'm with you on the coffee, sis, and heavy cream is nectar from the gods.
Oh man, I was having issues with it maybe a month and a half or so ago, and so I quit doing it again, and I was kind of depressed because I love coffee. Well,
I always say there's not enough coffee in mine to damage me. It's all heavy cream, and it's.
Well, that's the thing. I was going to say I like a little coffee with my cream, right?
Yeah.
You know.
What I started doing, I didn't have any problems with it, but you hear things and you're like, oh, maybe I should. So I started doing iced coffee. So now between the cream and the extra water with the ice, there's virtually no coffee. But it's nice. I enjoy it.
I have to say my coffee is still mostly coffee.
Yeah,
like about 12 ounces of actual coffee. But yes, I do like my coffee to have quite a decent amount of cream in it. So
yeah, I'm up to about a half a pot now a day.
Half a pot. Oh my goodness.
Yeah,
I only have 1 cup. Hi, Robin.
Of ice, it's iced coffee. So like I said, there's a lot of water in it. But
yeah.
But I was doing about two cups every day. And finally, and I'm like, I would drink it, and a couple hours later, I'm like, man, I'd like to have a little more. So I just started making a half a pot, and so
nice
a half a pot now with cream, a little bit of stevia in there, not too much.
Yeah. Well, I think the flavored elements have a little bit of stevia in them, which I'm watching, because if it becomes a problem, I will stop doing it.
Now there's because I'll tell you who else does that is our girl Christy at Meeting Wellness.
Yeah.
She loves that chocolate element tea with the coffee. I wonder if it blends well with cold coffee. Because I think it's for hot, the way it's put together to blend with hot.
I haven't tried it with cold beverages. I don't know if it's any different than the other elements, because I use the other elements and they dissolve perfectly well.
Yeah. I use element a couple times a week.
Yeah, it's worth giving a try. So I wanted to go back. So Robin said that her Smart Scale wanted to start charging her. I have not had that issue at all with Renfo. So if you want to check out the Renfo scale, just email me. She's got my email address. Have you downloaded the data into a computer yet? No, I haven't. I didn't even know I can download it into a computer, like from my phone. That's cool. Like I go through, like when I do my report every Monday, I just go through, I have a spreadsheet, and I just go through and I manually update my spreadsheet. But that I'm going to have to look into that feature. I have not done that yet.
Sounds pretty cool. So how far away are you from getting in the airplane?
Oh my goodness. So I have to be okay.
Close.
So just for anyone listening, my husband has a little Cessna 150 airplane, and we've been married for 33 years. I have never been able to fly with him because I can't fit in the airplane because I've been so heavy. I mean, I started out, my highest weight was almost 350 pounds. My weigh-in yesterday, I was 259. Mm-hmm. So he said that I need to be under 250. So I'm like right there. I want to be a little bit lower than that because I don't want him to have to go, okay, well, let's see, how much fuel am I able to carry and still carry my wife in the plane?
So you got 2 or 3 weeks maybe then.
Yeah. I mean, I will get there. I don't know when we're going to go and take our first flight together. Because I've never flown in a tiny little airplane. I'm going to make sure the weather is pristine. And we're going to go. I want to have him take me over. Like I said, I live in the Pacific Northwest, Washington State. I'm like 20 minutes away from the coast, but we love Orcas Island. And if anyone's ever been to Orcas Island, you will know why. It is amazing. And I want him to fly me over there. And they have a car for their pilots at the airport. You can tour all over the island. And yeah.
259 to 250. That 9 pounds is going to listen. I would say he doesn't really want to do it if he's arguing about the 9 pounds.
Oh, he can't wait.
Hey, listen, I'm telling you, if you ain't willing to put your life on the line, you don't really want to do it. I'm just saying. You ain't willing to die for it, you don't really want it.
Oh man, he flies people in his plane all the time, just not me.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah,
but
yeah.
he's the president of the local chapter of the Washington Pilots Association. He's so
Love
involved with
love
aviation here, and yeah, so he has not been able to share that passion with me, and I haven't been
that.
able to go up and experience flying with him. And everybody that I talk to says he's an amazing pilot. His landings are just super smooth and beautiful,
Yeah.
and
Hey. And if you get back in the ground in one piece, it's an amazing
that's
pilot.
my dad always used to tell me any landing you can walk away from is a good one.
That's right. That's exactly right. Now that is so awesome. I'm so happy for you. I'm so
Yeah,
happy for your success. This is a big part of our show is people coming on talking about their lives and
yeah,
the difference that ketogenic living has made in their lives. And like I said, hopefully it inspires people to
yeah.
start,
I
continue.
mean, the carnivore diet has become just my life. It's
Hmm.
so easy. And I know that for people who are just getting started, it seems like it's crazy. And, how do you eat just meat all the time? And once you start feeling better, it becomes
Yeah,
a no-brainer. It's
yeah,
like, I,
Hmm.
I don't want to feel bad again. And anybody who hasn't seen my story, you can find it on quite a few people's channels, but also my own. And, Robin just recently interviewed me. I got an interview and you can hear my story. I had no life.
yeah,
I mean, literally, I felt, my mast cell disease. I didn't even know I had until 2022, but I'd had it my whole life. And my life was absolutely just a misery from day to day. And so I
Wow.
feel like this way of eating has given me a life for the first time since I can recall. I think the last time I recall actually feeling halfway decent, I might have been a teenager. And
yeah,
I'm now almost 56.
yeah.
So,
I understand. It's not exactly my story, but it's not. It's in the same neighborhood.
yeah.
You just feel like you're. For me, I felt like my life was slipping away from me. I did have an
Yeah.
okay life. I was happy with my life in so many ways, but I could feel it slipping away from
Yeah.
me.
Well, we learn to adapt,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah,
Hmm.
We learn to just accept how we feel and kind of push
yeah,
through it and try to still function. And, but that's not really living,
yeah.
Right.
you know?
Surviving. Yeah, no, that is awesome. Well, you can find our girl Lynn at Midlife Carnivore. She is so great for the community, always so full of information and
Yeah.
interesting
And I've got
things.
my
Yes,
Nice.
love
I
that.
love it.
Shout
That's
out to all
awesome.
the Healing Humanity family there. Shout out to Carrie and everybody that's part of that
yeah,
documentary and movie. Support them and support what they're doing, and just
yep.
keep on keeping on spreading the word out there, healing the world.
Healing the world, and I'm actively looking for people, and I'm the one reviewing everybody's application. So
Yep.
yeah,
Get with Lynn. She's
connect,
the gatekeeper.
yeah,
Yes,
connect, get your
I've been.
applications in.
She's rejected me 17 times, but I still love her though. I still
Never
love her.
take it
That's why we
personally.
hired her.
I don't. I'm a mom. Of course, all my kids are grown, but it's like moms, we know how to say no, right?
Yeah, that's right. They told me one more time and I'll be banned. They'll block me. So, I can't blame them for that. I've been banned and blocked many, many times, and I can't blame anybody who's
We
ever
love
banned and blocked me.
we love everybody's story. We love
Yeah,
everybody's story.
yeah, but they will still ban you. But in any event, always great to see you, Lynn. Thanks so much for coming by
Yeah.
and stopping
Thanks so
in
much for inviting me.
and sharing with us. And I'm sure we'll see you again. You're a friend of ours, a friend of the show, great in the community. We'll see you around.
Awesome.
All
Absolutely.
about it.
We'll see you on Thursday, Lynn.
Yeah, I'll see you on
Yep,
Thursday. Have a great evening, you
yep.
guys.
Have a good
Take
night.
care. Bye. Awesome.
There you
Yeah.
have it.
I don't know why I just totally forgot that she was a GI nurse, and
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
that's
yeah.
like right up her alley to answer that question.
Yeah, you're
And there
smoking
she
that bad weed, man. It's the end of the month. Getting that janky weed, man. It's nothing but seeds and stems.
right?
It's
Yeah,
all,
I
it's,
wouldn't be smoking weed if I had a personal connection with the doctors like you do.
Oh, yes, you would.
Right?
But anyway, good. Nah, man. Well, I think we have fulfilled our contractual obligations to the family. As always, man, we're so glad you came to join us today. We always appreciate seeing everybody. Got a wonderful community, and we try to bring you some interesting people and have some fun and get some good information out there and have some more fun.
Right. Make fun of Russ.
Yes. What's more fun than that?
There is nothing more fun than that.
I agree. Well, all right. You plug in anything, brother?
Yeah, actually, hang on a second. Before we take off here. So I gotta share a picture with you. Hang on while I try to find it. Computer's acting wonky.
Come on, man. It's not one of you.
I know we're in the 0 hour here.
I told you not to send me no more of those pics, man.
Right. I'm not sending you that one. Share screen, share window, and this one, share. Okay. Can you see that?
Yes.
So this is our good friend Susan.
Yes.
That you said was from England.
Well, I just saw the flag. That's all.
And she's not. She's actually from Dayton, Ohio. So she's a fellow
Yes.
Buckeye.
Yes.
So yeah,
well,
we had a meetup with Dr. Barry's group. And so we all met out there, and she was awesome. So they had ran out of brisket, and she was nice enough to actually go and grab some for us. So we actually had something to eat, which was super, super nice. And I really appreciate that of her, and really a kind soul, and hoping to have her on the channel here soon. So
absolutely. I love that. And she has got to be an absolute positive angel because she's next to you and smiling.
Right.
You know how hard that is to do?
Right.
Yes, she's one of the keto cuties. She's one of the low carb ladies out there. I love that. I love that. Yes, thank you for sharing that. I love the family. I love being around the family. I'm so excited about the season coming up. It's hard to believe it's just a couple months away in May. We've got our KetoCon deal there, and then in August and in October, and I'll be up in September as well. So yeah, man, it's I love being around the family and the community, just meeting the people that we talk to online and sharing the stories. It's always a lot of love. Everybody's always just in a good place, always a lot of laughing, smiling, and joking, and I'm all about that. There's jokes, count me in.
Right. Yep.
So yeah, they ran out of food. That means what? You must have planned that thing, really, basically, is what
Exactly. So to answer Brett's question down there, I will not be there. I would like to be there, but it's scheduled on a date that I have a dance studio shoot, and it's not one that I can actually hire another photographer, because dance is rather particular about their photography. So it would just cost way too much money to hire somebody else to do it properly. So I won't be there because I had a prior engagement. So unfortunately, no. And I don't think I'll be able to attend virtually either, which makes me sad. But I think I might record a video or something like that Carrie can play in the theater for everybody. Just a quick, 30 seconds or a minute or something. That way people have something to throw darts at.
Yeah. Gotta give the people the reason to hate something.
Right. Exactly.
Gotta give them something to hate on.
For sure. Yep.
I love that, man. I love that.
Thank you, everybody. We appreciate you for coming and spending this time with us. And we look forward to seeing you here next week. And until then, we grilling, baby.